You stand in a wonderful garden. The air is fragrant and full of birdsong, and you look across that garden to see a magnificent palace of crystal and silver adorned with emeralds, and you know it is one of 900,000 palaces throughout this great city, which is filled also with gardens, temples, and assembly houses. This city is a fortress and a place of rest. You are one of the lucky few able to enter the city of Dvaraka. Today we're looking at the legendary capital of Krishna, an avatar of Vishnu according to Hindu beliefs, the city of Dvaraka. But first, hello! My name is Garvin and I read things and blather on about them on the internet for your entertainment, even when I'm recovering from a cold. With that said, let's turn to the city of Dvaraka. Now I mentioned Dvaraka was the capital of Krishna, but some of you might be asking, well, who the hell is Krishna? And that's a fair question, so let's go over it a bit. Krishna is a god of protection, compassion, love, and tenderness in the Hindu pantheon, so not a bad god to have around, but he's also a mortal who was one of the 10 avatars of Vishnu, also a Hindu god. I talked a bit about the concept of avatars in my video about Shambhala, but to really delve into it would require its own video, and to be fair, if I was going to really delve into Krishna, that would be its own video as well. So, just stick with me, folks. We're going to try and keep this brief and on point. Starting from the beginning, Krishna was born to the brother of a tyrannical king named Kamsa, who is informed, in some versions by a booming voice from the heavens, that one of his brother's kids will try to kill him. And I can't help but think that Krishna's dad might have been sitting there going, "Thanks, heaven. Really appreciate you giving my brother a warning that one of my kids is going to assassinate him. Most assassins prefer stealth and surprise, but no, it's okay. Let's give him 18 years to get ready and make my life miserable. Great job. Love it." And Kamsa is an ancient king, so we all know what his reaction is going to be.
I'll kill him!
So, dear viewers, as you probably guessed, Kamsa is unsuccessful and Krishna gets to grow up. And while growing up, he does a number of heroic feats, including one I mentioned in my Naga video some time ago. I'll throw a link in the description. And then he returns to his ancestral home. There, his uncle takes another couple of shots at taking him out, but misses, so Krishna overthrows and kills him. Now, Kamsa is noted as a very tyrannical king, but I kind of feel like the biggest problem here is that he did not give Krishna any choice in this. Krishna's choices were kill or be killed, and I don't think anyone can blame him for choosing kill. Well, moving on. Krishna reinstalls his grandfather as king instead of taking the throne for himself, but he does become the leading prince for the kingdom of Anarta. And then Krishna went on to have more adventures, including being the charioteer for Prince Arjuna in the Mahabharata. I probably mangled that pronunciation, guys, I'm sorry. And when Arjuna gets cold feet, realizing this war means killing family members and friends and other loved ones, Krishna has to sit him down and explain to him why he has to fight and why his fighting is not just his responsibility, but his moral duty to the universe. And the basis for this discussion appears in another holy text, the Bhagavad Gita. All these kind of things deserve to be discussed in their own videos, so I'm going to scurry away from that and head back to the city. According to the stories, Dvaraka was built on top of a fortress that was built by someone named Anarata, the guy they named their kingdom after, which was nice. And he's noted as being the father of modern humanity, which I guess makes him our universal grandpa. It's a strange concept to think about. And the father of Yama, the Hindu deity of justice and death, which is a combination that does make a certain amount of sense, but I can't help but feel uncomfortable over it for some reason. And I'm also wondering, which one of these kids gets presented as the more successful brother? The guy who founded all of humanity, or the guy who achieved godhood? You know what? You tell me in the comments. Anarta's fortress was, however, flooded by Varuna, the god of all waters, and in at least one version of the story, after overthrowing his uncle, Krishna leads his people, who are called the Yadavas, I hope I got that pronunciation right, to the site of the city. Now, just to step back a bit, the Yadavas were an ancient Indian people who claimed descent from a legendary king named Yadu, and Yadu was a member of the Lunar Dynasty, which was a dynasty of kings claiming to be descended from a Hindu lunar deity. We're not going to go any further into it, because Again, all of this stuff would take up its own video, so let's just keep moving. Dvaraka was actually constructed by a divine craftsman and architect, and I've put his name on the screen, because I'm sorry guys, I'm still recovering, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get that out. The story goes, or at least the story that I could find goes, that the divine builder told Krishna that he could only build the city if Krishna could convince the ocean itself to give up some land. And Krishna said, yeah man, no problem, went down to the ocean, made some sacrifices to get the ocean's attention, and just had a little conversation with it. And the ocean was so charmed that it gave up about, the story gives the measurement has 12 yognas, and from what I can find, one of those equals 7.6 miles, so 12 of those is about 91.68 miles, which, not a bad chunk of land for a quick conversation to build a city on. If nothing else, we can say Krishna is so charming he can get the ocean itself to give him gifts. The divine architect then built the city in 2 days, although some sources decided that wasn't impressive enough and said he built it in 1 day. We can't even build a toll booth in this country in 2 days, so yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I'm impressed. Now, as you probably guessed from that story, Dvaraka was a port city and a very wealthy one. The stories claim that there were 900,000 palaces made of silver and crystals, and they were decorated with emeralds, gold, and silk. That there were broad boulevards that connected marvelous marketplaces to peaceful parks and gorgeous gardens, temples, assembly houses, everything you need for a thriving city. But that wasn't all. The massive walls of this city shone like gold in the sunlight, because this was not just a place of wealth, but also a place of security with great walls and gatehouses. This was a secure and safe fortress. But all things in their appointed time must pass away. And after that war, there were some hard feelings, as among the dead were all 100 sons of Queen Gandhari. And I'm going to admit, I can see where she's coming from, because if you have 100 kids, you don't expect to lose all of them, no matter how bad it gets. You're probably waking up every morning expecting at least one of them's going to be alive. So, harsh. But she blamed Krishna for this, feeling he could have stopped the war and cursed him to suffer the fate of all his kinsmen killing each other. And, true to the curse, soon afterwards, the Yadavas began to quarrel and fight with one another, and Krishna, perhaps feeling the sheer weight of everything he had been through, decided to stop and take a nap in a local forest before trying to untangle this. A hunter named Jara sees just enough of Krishna to mistake him for a deer, and fires an arrow, killing Krishna. Krishna does wake up before he dies and makes a point to forgive Jara, which is pretty nice. I'm sure Jara was feeling pretty bad about this situation, so I'm not going to dump on him too hard here. I'm just going to note, as bad as Jara was feeling, Krishna was probably feeling worse about this whole thing. If that wasn't enough, Krishna's death traditionally marks the start of the Kala Yuga, the worst part of the Hindu time cycle as I understand it, and of course, the one we're all living in. Hooray! And of course, just to put a cherry on top of this sundae, after Krishna's death, the sea took back its land, drowning Dvaraka. Now, as fun as that story is, something else to consider, the modern story of Dwarka has long been associated with this mythical land and is a major pilgrimage site in India, especially for devotees of Krishna. It's a major city in the Indian state of Gujarat, and what's more is that there's a major archaeological site off the coast, which is believed to be a submerged settlement, a very old one. While expeditions had occurred since the 1930s, the biggest discoveries I could find took place between 1985 and 1989, where 9 marine archaeological expeditions led by S.R. Rao found things like submerged ramparts, walls, streets, and various artifacts, including a 3-hole triangular anchor. And the ruins have been dated to roughly about 1500 BC to 1700 BC, depending on what source you look at. And this puts the city in the same time frame and very close to the same region as the Indus Valley Civilization. So this could have been a major city in the same culture as Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, a city that would have traded with the Mesopotamian city-states and existed as the same time as the Middle Kingdom of Egypt in the depths of the Bronze Age. And hopefully we'll find out more. With this physical evidence, we can safely consider Dvaraka a historical city as well as a mythological city. And there's not really a conflict here. There are plenty of real places that are also mythical, like Mount Olympus in Greece, or Troy in modern-day Turkey. In this case, the myth is very possibly the memory of a real place, and while I don't believe in Hinduism and my knee-jerk reaction is some of these details are way off, it might even be a memory of real events and real people. So, the myth of Dvaraka stands as a monument that could be over 3,500 years old. And that's an amazing accomplishment in and of itself to be remembered for so long, even if some of the details get a little, embellished. It's on that note that I'm going to end this week's video. I hope you found it informative, or at least entertaining. If you did, please leave a like, a comment, or consider subscribing, as all of that helps me with my eternal battle against the dread Lord Algorithm. Terror be on his name. If you'd like to have a voice on future videos, join my Everwise patrons for just $1 a month. Speaking of patrons, I'd like to thank my biggest supporter, Big Steve. Hope you have a good holiday, man. And while there may or may not be a bonus video for the holidays, I'm working to see if I can get it out of the gate as of this recording. This is going to be my last regular video of the year, and I'm going to head off for the holidays. I'll be returning on January 23rd, so until then, happy holidays. May the next year be a better year for all of us, and I want to encourage all of you to take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and of course, keep reading.